That could have been you. That could have been you. That could have been you, but y'all were so not locked in today. I don't know what the fuck y'all, what pill y'all took. I don't know what unlocked pill y'all fucking took today, but your asses were on fucking Saturn while I'm sitting there taking a little trip to Iraq, bro. The way I be racking up these bands, son. I was straight up Trimington International on this bitch while y'all were sitting there jerking your shit. It was super simple. A super simple move. I should have taken it on NQ. That was my only mistake. I should have taken it on NQ. I did not. I took that shit on ES. So the actual implied move happened on MNQ, but realistically, I did take it on ES. So I will describe it from the terms of NQ, and then I'll go to ES and show you. I was just on the wrong equity. It was moving in correlation, obviously, but still. So I started the stream, the PM stream a little bit earlier because we came up to our previous daily high. Excuse me. We swept out that session level density from like a week prior back there. We completely inversed, or at least potentially inversed, the fair value gaps, the first fair value gaps off that previous order block, moved and reacted to the 2-minute first fair value gap off of that last order block there, fail swept it, then created a 1-minute, 2-minute first fair value gap. You see the 2-minute in here. The 1-minute kept getting mitigated inverse, but we maintained the 2-minute for a while. You'll see right there, there's the 2-minute fair value gap being maintained. You can see that was the fair value gap that was used to create the order block. So that was our first fair value gap to the downside. My entries are on 3 and 5 minute pointer breaks of structure, as long as we have that 3-minute first fair value gap. Obviously, you can see we have all these bearish order blocks here from the move prior. So if I'm looking for shorts, I'd want to mitigate that. And you can see we're seeing symptoms of mitigation, as well as replacing it with a new 3-minute first fair value gap. So you can see we mitigated not only this, but this, and this, all in that process. We left behind a 3-minute first fair value gap here. I did not draw this in again. I took this on ES. I was on the wrong equity line. I should have been on NQ. So that was my only mistake I did make here. But this was our 3-minute first fair value gap. If you don't know about them, go watch the video. Entry was on the 3-minute pointer break of structure if it could create a 5-minute fair value gap, and it did. You can see you have your 5-minute fair value gap form. I think it was on ES actually. I think we had the 5-minute form on ES. And that's probably why I ended up taking it, honestly. I just made a mistake in it. I believe we had a 5-minute. I might be tripping though. Am I tripping? Oh, okay. It was well before. So I got my entry on the 3-minute break of structure. The reason why I was really quick to exit this move is because it didn't create that 5-minute first fair value gap, and that's my rule. It must create that 5-minute first fair value gap. It didn't do so until way later in the move. You can see it didn't even do so until I was already looking to take profit. I took profit right down here on this. I've never seen this shit in my life. What the fuck is that? I've never seen this shit in my life. Anyways, I took the shit down to EQ of this move right here. You can see again, this might be wrong because this is NQ. Yeah, there we go. Like a tick right to EQ, and then you can see price had a pretty crazy reaction off that. I don't like holding down an EQ. It's just not really I'm not really interested in doing that. You can do it. You can put stops at the high of EQ range. I just don't prefer to do that. We did make our 5-minute fair value gap. Our entry was on that 3-minute pointer break of structure. If I go to the 3-minute time frame, you can see the pointer break of structure right there. That was my entry. Stops went above the order block high or the first fair value gaps. And again, it's more clear on ES if I show you on ES. Algo also alerted before I entered too. My entry was right here, right there in between these two candles, pointer breaks of structure. There's your pointer break of structure, stops above the pointer, which is conveniently right on top of our first fair value gaps right here. After our order blocks, we had order block, external source of liquidity, and then we started liquidating, inversing these first fair value gaps here, or not inversing, but fully mitigating them. So there was no bullish order block that could get created. Bullish order flow is clearly not in power if you're mitigating bearish order blocks, right? Entry was on that pointer break of structure, holding down on the 5-minute, making sure we create inefficient breaks. We're making inefficient breaks. The problem is we're not leaving behind fair value gaps. You can see if I move the pointer to the right-hand side here, you see we are, whoops, nope, that's the order. You can see we had an inefficient break here. We did not maintain the fair value gap that could get created, which would make sense, right? Why? We're on equilibrium. We're getting close to equilibrium. Remember, equilibrium is an idea, not a line. And so I did take profit at a line, but we're getting close to a range where price is comfortable. You would expect price to be relatively comfortable in here. You can see it's been comfortable here before. So why would you expect or anticipate inefficient moves? And so I wouldn't particularly expect the 5-minute to be relatively inefficient by making first fair value gaps at all, right? We're getting close to EQ. I would want to see the opposite. You'd want to see them form on both sides. So I'm not entirely surprised it didn't make the 5-minute. So I listened to my rules and I took profit once we hit our EQ because we didn't lock in that first fair value gap. And then the reaction on that 5-minute fair value gap wasn't good anyways. A pointer break of structure after creating a 5-minute fair value gap. You can see that happen right here. That fucking replay thing is ugly as hell. You can see we made that 5-minute fair value gap right there, and then we reacted to that positively. in a bullish case. So why would you want to hold this down anyways? But I listened to my rules. We didn't make the 5-minute fair value gap when I needed to. It did do it, right? It did do it directly after the pointer. If you look at the pointer, right, you have your pointer here. You have your 5-minute fair value gap here. It was just a little bit later than I had personally wanted, right? Another reason I was willing to also get out pretty quickly, and I was a little bit on edge during this trade, is because we created a volume imbalance right here in between these two moves, and a bullish volume imbalance after a pointer break requires that to be immediately filled. If it doesn't get immediately filled and sustained, that volume imbalance will be maintained, and I will get out of my trade and wait for a new 3-minute pointer break of structure entry off of first fair value gaps, off of external liquidity, off of bias, because I don't want to hold it down during a consolidation. We're already close to consolidation, so why would I want to hold it down on what will be an aggressive move to the upside? Volume imbalances will have two things. It's one or the other, an aggressive move to the downside or an aggressive move to the upside. It'll either become the order block to the move to the upside, being the bullish confluence on our previous daily high, targeting an external source of liquidity, or it will just be a part of the move to the downside. In this case, we were lucky, and my stops were being trailed in real time. I don't want to see these volume imbalances get validated or non-retraced. I want to see them immediately retraced. After it's created, I want that next candle to immediately retrace it. I'll give it maybe 2 candles, but no more than that. It did that, so I was fine. And then in doing so, in filling and retracing that inefficiency, this bullish inefficiency, we left behind a bearish fair value gap, which is good. So then at this point, I just moved my stop to, held my stops on the order block or the pointer high, which is also a 2-minute and 3-minute first fair value gap. Held it there and just rode down to EQ. A super simple move, about a 7 RR. It was moving RR, so the original RR was like a 1.5, and then I moved it to the pointer high, which is like right in here. The pointer high is right in there. So it's about a 7 RR, more or less. And I had 2 average fills. I had a fill here and then a fill here. So it was probably more like a 4 or 5 RR anyways. But it was a really solid trade. I made $1,000 on this. Super simple move. Very quick. Literally, how long was this? Genuinely not long at all. 20 minutes? Yeah, fucking 25 minutes. Super fucking simple. The most challenging part is just being able to passively watch volume imbalances form and just assume that know the conditions, be dynamic, right? Know that it can get retraced or it can be an aggressive order block to the upside. That's what an order block forms off of, volume imbalances. So you have to be dynamic. You have to be okay with both happening and just enter off of a binary thing every time and then wait for the reactions. If you don't get those reactions, you get out. In this case, it's kind of like a sliding scale. Some days you get the fair value gap immediately and you're chilling. Other days you don't get it and it just consolidates. And why would I be okay with it consolidating or being a little bit less bearish expressive? We're on EQ range. We're pulling back to the daily equilibrium that we've been consolidating on all day. So yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be particularly expressive to the downside. If anything, I would expect it to not retrace as heavily, right? I would expect it to make bullish order blocks or bullish fair value gaps immediately, or not even make this move to the downside at all. So it was a simple move. But if you weren't paying attention to the pointers, if you don't know about pointers, if you don't know about first fair value gaps, if you don't know about bias, then yeah, you would have missed this shit. You wouldn't have been able to see this shit. Just to see if there was any other things I could have done better here. No, I don't see any. We got literally the 3-minute pointer break entry. There are multiple pointers to enter on. There were 2 pointers you could have sized in on here. You could have sized it on this pointer or on this pointer. And this pointer would have been better because right after that pointer, which was at a 1357, literally right after this, we had the volume imbalance getting retraced. So not bad at all. Either of those were perfectly valid to enter on as long as you were getting the validations you need. If you didn't, you just pulled a break even, right? It's super simple shit. Super simple shit. You should not take losses like this. You just shouldn't. We were actually looking for longs for a second there, and then none of the first fair value gaps were being sustained, and we were leaving behind and validating that 2-minute fair value gap. So why would I look for longs if we're holding down first fair value gaps and then translating that first fair value gap to the 3-minute time frame? I believe this is on NQ. I might have gotten that wrong. I have both up, so when I make decisions, I'm looking at both equities, which is something you need to do because sometimes there's going to be a fair value gap or a volume imbalance that's not perfectly on one, but it's on the other one, like we had here. And it's very clear and more expressive on this equity instead. In fact, it has a better pointer break. It has a better set of fair value gaps. Like it's arguably a better move, a more clear move. But at the end of the day, you catch what you catch in a live trading situation. You're not always going to execute perfectly, but you do need to listen to your rules. You need to have rules that you abide by every single time. So yeah, pretty simple fucking move, boys. Hopefully you learned a little bit. Basically, bearish confluence above a previous daily high, pointer break of structure, first fair value gaps on the 2, 3, 5-minute time frames. SMT with MNQ, got in on that pointer break, stops to the pointer break, making sure that we create those inefficiencies afterwards. We did, but because we're pulling to EQ, it was relatively efficient, so we saw them get retraced. So obviously we're out at EQ. Simple shit, boys. Do not overcomplicate it. Go fucking learn. I can't do it any more fucking simply. I just can't. Okay? I'm giving you top to bottom, everything I do. It's your job. It's your responsibility to learn and click buy and sell. You know, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to click that button, not mine. I will show you how to do it over and over and over again, but you have to have the fucking balls to be able to execute. That's what trading is all about. Anyways, boys, take care. I will see y'all in the AM session tomorrow. We have an 80% off deal with Apex Trader Funding if you want to use that. I don't take any money from that. All the money that comes from this code right here goes right back to you guys. I buy accounts and I give them out on Friday. So any money we make from that goes to you guys. Just a way to give back. Use code TROOP. There will be a link in the bio. There's also a link to the VOD of this stream. And there's also a link to my Discord community. Everything I do is free. I don't charge anything. You can watch my streams completely for free. Tap into the kick, baby. Love y'all, Troop. See y'all later.